Man, I did not crip walk like that at Wimbledon. Ooh, I would have been fine. It was all love.
Say, Drake, I hear you like I'm young.
Right. So today we're going to really do a deep dive into the world of Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
And more specifically, his track Not Like Us, which has really kind of exploded.
Yeah.
And we're talking Grammys, and we're talking Super Bowl, and we're talking a whole lot of controversy.
Definitely a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. So to guide us through all this, we've got two great sources. A YouTube video that breaks down Kendrick's Grammy sweep and an analysis of reactions to his Super Bowl performance.
Okay, cool.
And you know what really jumps out to me is like the audacity of Not Like Us to win 5 Grammys.
Oh, yeah.
Including both Record and Song of the Year.
It's amazing.
Which, I mean, has a diss track ever done that before?
I don't think so. I mean, that's got to be a first, right?
Yeah.
To achieve that level of recognition.
Yeah, and you know, I think a lot of people, they understand what those awards represent.
Yeah.
But it's maybe worth just like clarifying the distinction.
Yeah.
So, Record of the Year, that's celebrating like the overall production.
Right.
Highlighting the work of the producers and the engineers.
Exactly. So in this case,
whereas Song of the Year, that's about like the songwriting itself.
it really honors the craft of songwriting. Yeah, the lyrics and the composition.
So, in this case, it's like, Mustard's genius as a producer, that gets recognized as the Record of the Year.
Right.
And then the Song of the Year puts the spotlight on Kendrick's lyrical prowess.
Exactly.
But what really blows my mind is like this song, it's like transcended its original context as a diss track.
Yeah.
And it's become like a full-blown anthem.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in this YouTube video, they talk about this like incredible scene at the Grammys
Okay.
where like everybody's singing along to that A Minor Line.
Wow.
They're talking like even Taylor Swift and Beyonce.
Oh, wow.
It's like this massive karaoke session.
That's a powerful image.
Yeah.
I think that really speaks to the song's ability to connect on like a visceral level.
Totally.
It's not just a diss track anymore, it's
Right.
tapped into something much larger. Something cultural, maybe even generational.
And I love how in his acceptance speech, he like shouts out all the different neighborhoods in LA.
Oh, yeah.
Really emphasizing his roots.
Uh-huh.
Felt almost like a subtle jab at Drake,
Oh, interesting.
who, let's be honest, he's often associated with the more like Hollywood Calabasas vibe.
Right.
And then there's like the Canadian tuxedo,
Oh, yeah.
this denim on denim look.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that was like a nod towards Drake's Canadian heritage?
It's certainly possible. I mean, these award shows are so carefully orchestrated.
Yeah.
Every detail from like the words spoken to the clothes worn, they can all be interpreted as strategic moves.
And then let's not forget the elephant in the room.
What's that?
Like Drake's lawsuit against Universal Music Group.
Right.
He accused them of artificially inflating Not Like Us,
Oh, wow.
claiming it wouldn't be as big without their meddling. But then it wins 5 Grammys, which are decided by a whole voting body within the industry. It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It really does. Yeah. What's really
Yeah.
going on behind the scenes?
What's really going on behind the scenes?
It definitely raises questions about those complex relationships between artists and record labels and streaming platforms.
Yeah.
We're seeing artists like Drake, who are incredibly savvy, about the industry. They start to push back against these practices that they perceive as unfair.
Yeah. And it's fascinating that this whole saga unfolded while he was touring Australia,
Oh, wow.
completely removed from the Grammy whirlwind. Like, what do you think was going through his mind?
It's hard to speculate, but the timing definitely adds another layer of intrigue to the whole situation.
Okay, so from the Grammy stage, let's shift gears and head over to the Super Bowl field.
Okay.
There was a lot of speculation about whether Kendrick would even perform Not Like Us at the halftime show.
Oh, really?
After all, it's a pretty bold move to perform a diss track on such a massive platform,
For sure.
especially with that lawsuit still hanging in the air.
Yeah, and we have to remember that Jay-Z plays a pretty significant role
Right.
in selecting those Super Bowl performers.
Right.
It's a position that gives him a lot of influence
Yeah.
over who gets that coveted spot.
And he gave it to Kendrick,
He did.
knowing full well that, Not Like Us might be on the set list.
Yeah, so Kendrick went for it.
He did?
He performed the song.
Yeah.
And as you can imagine, the reactions were mixed.
Oh, yeah.
Our second source really dives deep into the response.
Right.
And it's fascinating to see the range of opinions.
Yeah.
You have people like Joe Budden who thought the performance was boring, even calling it trash.
Trash.
And, that's a valid perspective.
Yeah.
Art is subjective.
Yeah.
What resonates with one person might not connect with another.
But then you have those who interpreted the performance as a powerful statement.
Yeah.
A protest, even with like layers of social commentary woven into the music and visuals.
That's where the detailed analysis in the second source becomes so insightful.
Yes.
They break down the symbolism, the American flag built out of Black people, the PlayStation-inspired stage, the prison yard setting.
Yeah, it's not just a performance. It's like a carefully constructed message.
Exactly.
About power and control and like the American experience.
Right.
Particularly within the entertainment industry.
Absolutely.
I was really struck by this comparison to Lil Wayne.
Okay.
And the argument that like Kendrick's message demanded a different approach.
Interesting.
It's fascinating how different artists use their platforms.
Yeah.
And how like the evolution of hip-hop keeps pushing boundaries and challenging conventions.
Right.
What do you think about that evolution?
Well, the comparison to Lil Wayne is interesting because it really highlights how hip-hop has matured in its ability to address those social issues.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne's style often focused on braggadocio and wordplay.
Right.
While Kendrick is known for his complex narratives and social consciousness.
Yeah.
So perhaps Kendrick's message required a more nuanced and layered approach.
Yeah.
One that kind of invites deeper reflection.
This feels much bigger than just one song or one artist.
It does.
It sparked a conversation about so much more.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Oh, it's definitely raising a lot of questions about like the blurred lines between art and commerce, the power dynamics within hip hop,
Yeah.
the effectiveness of these platforms like the Superbowl for social commentary, and even the role of the audience.
Exactly.
In interpreting and engaging with art that challenges the status quo.
There's a lot to unpack here.
There's a lot to unpack.
What stands out to you the most from this deep dive so far?
For me, it's how this situation really like illuminates the challenges that artists face in today's music industry.
Yeah.
Like their art is so deeply entwined with commerce and technology that it creates this constant tension.
It really does, and it makes you wonder, like, what does this mean for the future of music?
Right.
Will we see more artists using their platforms to make bold statements like Kendrick? Or will the industry's focus on, like, commercial success stifle those kinds of creative risks?
It's a tough question.
It is.
On the one hand, you have artists like Kendrick who are pushing boundaries and challenging conventions.
Right.
But on the other hand, you have this, like, industry machine that often prioritizes profits over artistry.
Yeah, and we can't forget our role as listeners in all of this.
Right.
Like our choices, what we stream, what we share, what we criticize. It all contributes to shaping the landscape of the music industry.
You're absolutely right. We have more power than we realize.
Yeah.
Our collective voice can make a difference.
It can.
If we support artists who are taking risks, who are creating music that matters, then maybe, just maybe, we can shift the balance.
I think so. Think about it this way. Kendrick Lamar's Grammy domination and that Super Bowl performance, it could be a pivotal moment.
A turning point.
Yeah.
How so?
Well, it could signal a shift in how artists leverage their platforms.
Okay.
We might see a greater willingness to challenge those conventions and to address these social issues head on.
I like that perspective.
Yeah.
It's hopeful.
It is.
It suggests that artists can use their influence to spark real change.
They can.
But it also puts a lot of responsibility on their shoulders.
It does indeed. And it's not just about music.
Right.
This conversation extends to all forms of art and entertainment.
Yeah.
How are creators navigating this evolving relationship between their work and the platforms that distribute it?
Yeah.
How are they balancing the desire to reach a wide audience with the need to stay true to their artistic vision?
These are questions we should all be contemplating.
We should.
So much to think about.
Yeah.
What does all this mean for us, the listeners?
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
Well, I think it encourages us to be more discerning consumers of music and media.
To look beyond the surface.
Okay.
To question the messages we're being fed.
Yeah.
And to support artists who are creating work that aligns with our values.
That's such an important point. We have a responsibility to engage with art thoughtfully.
We do.
To be aware of the influences shaping it.
Yeah.
And to support creators who are using their platforms for good.
Exactly. And remember, art can be a powerful tool for social change.
For sure.
It can challenge our perspectives, ignite dialogue, and inspire action.
Totally.
Let's not underestimate its potential.
You've talked about Kendrick's Grammy wins the Super Bowl performance.
Yeah.
The controversy,
Here.
the wider implications for the music industry. What else stood out to you from this deep dive?
You know, there's this one detail from that second source about Kendrick's Super Bowl performance that really stuck with me.
Yeah.
They talked about how the stage was designed like a PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
With this giant Squid Game card in the background.
Yeah, I remember that visual.
Yeah.
It was striking. What do you make of it?
Well, to me, it suggests a commentary on how the entertainment industry itself operates like a game with its own set of rules, winners and losers.
Right.
And that Squid Game reference adds a layer of danger, hinting at the high stakes involved and the potential consequences for those who don't play by the rules.
I hadn't thought about it that way before.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying that artists are pawns in this much larger game.
Right.
One that can be both exhilarating and incredibly dangerous.
Exactly. And the source goes even further,
Okay.
suggesting that certain artists are planted within the industry to further specific agendas.
Whoa, that's a pretty intense claim.
Yeah.
What do you think they mean by planted?
It's a complex idea, and it's hard to say for sure what the motivations might be.
Right.
Are these artists aware of their role in the larger scheme of things?
Yeah.
Are they willing participants?
Yeah.
Or are they being manipulated without even realizing it?
That's a lot of questions and not a lot of answers. It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does.
Is Not Like Us really just a diss track about Drake?
Yeah.
Or is it a broader critique of the entire system?
Perhaps it's both.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes this deep dive so compelling.
Right.
We're dealing with layers of meaning, symbolism, and social commentary that can be interpreted in multiple ways.
We started this conversation by unpacking Kendrick Lamar's Grammy wins and his thought-provoking Super Bowl performance.
We did.
And look where we've ended up. We're questioning the very foundations of the music industry.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
From a diss track to a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
Not Like Us has become a lens through which we can examine the complexities of the music industry and our role within it.
So as we wrap things up, what's the one takeaway you hope our listener walks away with?
I hope they leave with a sense of curiosity, a desire to delve deeper into the music they love, and to be more mindful of the forces shaping the art they consume.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about becoming an active participant in the cultural landscape.
It is.
Not just a passive observer.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe this conversation will inspire some listeners to create their own art.
Yeah.
To add their voices to the mix and to challenge the status quo.
That would be incredible. So to our listener, we leave you with this.
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us may have begun as a diss track.
Right.
But its ripple effects have extended far beyond its intended target.
They have.
It sparked debate, inspired reflection, and pushed us to confront some uncomfortable truths about the music industry and our place within it.
As you continue exploring the music that moves you, remember that every song, every performance, every album tells a story.
Right.
It's up to us to listen closely, to ask questions,
Yeah.
and to engage with those stories in a meaningful way.
Beautifully said. It's been a fascinating deep dive.
It has.
And we appreciate you joining us on this journey.
Absolutely.
Until next time. Keep exploring. Keep questioning.
Keep the conversation going.
And keep the conversation going. I mean, honestly, that whole idea of artists being like planted within the industry, it's kind of unsettling.
It is.
It makes you question like everything you thought you knew about the music you love.
It's definitely thought-provoking.
Yeah.
And it raises all these questions about, agency and authenticity.
Right.
Like, how much control do artists really have over their careers?
Yeah.
Are they shaping the narrative, or are they being shaped by forces beyond their control?
And how do we as listeners, like, how do we navigate this landscape?
Right.
Do we just like blindly consume what's being fed to us?
Yeah.
Or do we become more critical, more discerning in our choices?
I think it's about finding a balance.
Right.
We can still enjoy music for its entertainment value.
Yeah.
For its ability to move us and connect us.
Right.
But I think we can also be more aware of the context in which it's created, the influences at play, and the potential agendas being pushed.
It's like we're being asked to become like more conscious consumers.
Yeah.
Not just of music, but of all forms of media and entertainment.
Precisely. And that awareness can empower us to make more informed choices.
Okay.
About the artists we support and the messages we amplify.
We started this deep dive by exploring Kendrick's Grammy wins
Right.
and his thought-provoking Super Bowl performance.
We did.
And look where we've ended up. We're questioning, like, the very foundations of the music industry.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
From a diss track to a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
Not Like Us has become this lens through which we can examine the complexities of the industry and our role within it.
So as we wrap things up, what's the one takeaway
Okay.
you hope our listener walks away with?
I hope they leave with a sense of curiosity, a desire to delve deeper into the music they love, and to be more mindful of those forces shaping the art they consume.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about becoming an active participant in the cultural landscape, not just a passive observer.
And who knows, maybe this conversation will inspire some listeners to create their own art.
To add their voices to the mix and to challenge the status quo.
Exactly.
That would be incredible.
It would.
So to our listener, we leave you with this.
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us may have begun as a diss track,
Right.
but its ripple effects have extended far beyond its intended target.
It really has.
It sparked debate, inspired reflection, and pushed us to confront uncomfortable truths
For sure.
about the music industry and our place within it.
Absolutely. As you continue exploring the music that moves you,
Mm-hmm.
remember, every song, every performance, every album tells a story.
Right.
It's up to us to listen closely, to ask questions, and to engage with those stories in a meaningful way.
Beautifully said. It's been a fascinating deep dive.
It has.
And we really appreciate you joining us on this journey.
Me too.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning,
Keep the conversation going.
and keep the conversation going.